Hey guys, this week's tip comes to us as a result of a few demonstrations I've done over the last week or so, and each one of those demonstrations had similar questions. So I thought, heck, we might as well put together a video because I bet there's some other folks out there that have the same type of questions. So what we're going to review today is the Roundup function for charity within SMS. I know you guys have seen this type of functionality in places where you shop. We've got a basic order, the total amount due is $10.77. The cashier politely asks the customer if they would like to round up that difference to $11 and donate that to charity. Within the POS, there's going to be some sort of input by the cashier. In my case, it's a button for Roundup. They hit that button, the function is run, the roundup and all the math is done automatically, and that 23 cents is stuck in the totalizer in SMS for charity. It is not counted in sales, but can be reported on for a later date so that you can pay out to that charity whatever the customers donate. Now let's hop into the back end and see how we manage this and a couple other options for you as well. All right, so we're back in Pro and we're going to take a look at some of the foundational elements that make up this POS plugin of Charity Roundup. Now, there aren't any license fees associated with this plugin, but you're certainly going to have to call your SMS authorized reseller and set up a time for them to come install this stuff on your system. And that installation is going to have some labor involved, so there's going to be some costs associated with that. Now, as we jump into this, you're going to see that we're going down to the basic roots of SMS. We're dealing with functions and totalizers. Now, out of the box, when this POS plugin is installed, you're going to get one script, one function, and one totalizer. The function and totalizers are here. I'm not going to show you the script because it's just a bunch of gobbledygook anyway. But within the function, when we hit that button, we're actually calling this function right here, the out-of-the-box one, number 562. And within that function, it is sending data and sharing data with totalizer 205, labeled Charity 1 in this case. So you can see the function here. When I hit that button back on my POS, this is what it's interacting with. It's doing whatever the math says in the script it should do. And then whatever the dollar amount or the penny amount that's used for that roundup piece is flowed over into totalizer 205 right here. And you can see it's set up as a credit and in the accounting section of the totalizer, so that when we run reports, we're going to see that whatever amounts are rounded up aren't shown in sales, but rather as something that we're going to pay out to whatever the charity is that is selected. Now, what's kind of cool about this plugin, and the thing that's really been asked about a lot here lately, is that you can take the script, you can take the function, and you can take the totalizer and you can copy them and create new scripts, new functions, new totalizers, and just change a few settings and have multiple charities within the POS that allows the customer to pick individual charities that they wish to donate to. Let me hop over to my POS here and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now, what's also nice is on the customer receipt, if we drag that over here, you're going to see exactly what happened in a transaction here. You're going to see the net sales, bottle sales in this case, total sales, and then the charity roundup that's going to be held in that one specific totalizer that we just showed you. Now let's rerun the transaction and show you what Charity 2 and Charity 3 do. All right, so I reran the same transaction. I've come back to my charity options. The customer this time wants to select Charity 2, and you're going to see it's going to round up, and it's going to have a separate totalizer bucket for Charity 2. So now I have a setup for Charity 1 and Charity 2 with different totalizers that I can manage in the reporting. This will all make sense in just a second when I show you that reporting. So we're going to go ahead and tender out. Then I'm going to show you one additional option that you can do with this function with Charity 3. Last transaction, I promise. Ring up the same item. This time we're going to select charity number 3, except in this instance, we're no longer rounding up pennies to the nearest dollar. Instead, for this particular charity, we're rounding up to the nearest $10. Let me show you what I mean. When I hit charity 3, you're going to see it's going to add $9.61 because it rounds up to the nearest 10. So within this functionality, you have the option to round up to the nearest next dollar, $5, $10, $20, whatever the heck amount that you want, but it's giving you some flexibility. And again, you can see we're in a separate totalizer here, charity number 3. I'm going to go ahead and cash this baby out as well. Now let's hop back into the SMS reporting and I'll show you where to find all this data. So real quick before we hop into the reporting, I just wanted to show you that here's how we set up those additional 2 charity buttons. We have 2 additional functions that I created and then 2 additional totalizers that correspond back to those functions. Now let's hop over to the report and I'll show you where all this stuff is shown nice and neat for you. What's really nice about this plugin is that out of the box, all the data flows to the financial reports where you'd expect to see this stuff and where you can help manage it and then eventually pay out to those charities. So I've just run in a store multi-total for today's activity so far. I want to launch that baby, and you can see this is the typical data you're used to seeing, except as I scroll down here, there's going to be a section received on account, charity 1, charity 2, charity 3, the same amounts that we just did at the POS. And now after running this report, you can pay those dollar amounts out to these 3 specific charities. Pretty cool stuff for out-of-the-box functionality. Well, that's it for this week's tip. Hopefully we've answered a couple questions and given you a few ideas that you can implement in your stores yet this week. Until next time, Have a great day.